Hello, thanks for joining me today. I have Marianne in studio with me today. We are doing a general class today, some very basic poses, a few forward bends also. You may need to have your basic props, some blocks, possibly your strap, and definitely blankets to sit on. If you do inversions, definitely have some blankets for shoulder balance, or if you're fortunate enough to have the shoulder balance foams, have those handy. We're going to begin today's class in Swastikasana. So sitting with your legs crossed in a nice comfortable position, you want to lift up tall. So Marianne is pretty much almost in half Siddhasana. So you're crossing at the shins and letting the thighs settle. However, if you're comfortable in half lotus and you want to take the top leg up into half lotus, you're welcome to. Or if you want to go into the full lotus, then absolutely do that too. In this position, extend up the spine. Open up across the chest, and you want to bring your hands together in the prayer position. On an exhalation, let the eyes gently begin to close. Coming to the breath, taking soft inhalations, soft exhalations. The inhalations are drawing you to your body, to your mat. Use the breath to bring yourself to your present moment and leave the outside world outside. With each exhalation, you want to bring the abdomen back to the spine to keep that tallness in the lumbar spine. You also want to bring the shoulder blades into the body to assist that openness of the chest. Just be with your breath. Eyes are gently closed. Skin of the face is soft, especially the muscles, the jaw. As you exhale, use that exhalation also to relax the shoulders away from the ears, to keep the knees settled down so that the groins are quiet. We'll begin the class with the 3 Oms. Om. 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 Coming back to your breath, let that inhalation lift up the spine, open up the chest. The exhalation again, finding any areas of tension and releasing tension with that exhalation. On the next breath out, take your chin down, keep your chest lifted. Take a moment here with the head bowed just to salute the divinity within. On the next breath out, release the hands into the lap. Lift your head up and open your eyes. We're staying in the Swastikasana position, and you're just going to start to walk your feet, your hands forward and extending forward. So you're extending the sides of the body. As you go forward, you want to keep the buttocks grounded. So lengthen the sides of the ribs, settle the abdomen onto the lap, extend the arms forward, but keep the buttocks grounded. A little bit of hip work here. From here, walking your hands back, come to the upright. Once you are seated upright, using your hands next to you to lift the sides of the body, to lift the spine. Keep the crown of the head in line with the perineum, so don't lean as you turn. We're going to come to Pajva, so turning to one side, using your hand to pull yourself around. The head turns last. Coming back to the center, lift up tall again, exhale, Pajva to the other side. Keep the chest lifted, keep the openness across the chest, the spine tall, and then release, coming back to center. Now change the cross of the legs, coming back to Swastikasana. So not every side of the body is the same. If you find that with this different cross, there's a lot of tension, you're not used to it, or if your spine sags and you can't get that extension, then take more height under the buttocks. From here, you're going to extend into the forward fold. Once your hands are forward, also press into the hands and see, can you use that pressure to ground the buttocks down? Settle the abdomen into the lap on an exhalation. Let the abdomen just rest and then walk your hands back. From this upright position again, we come to Pajva. So turning to one side, letting the muscles of the back wrap around, empty out the abdomen on an exhalation and really wring out the spine at the waist. Pull on that hand and bring the chest around, look back. Releasing back to the center. You're going to extend the spine once more and on the exhalation, turn to the other side. Keep the thighs grounded, keep the spine nice and tall, the chest well open, and you're using this hand that you're coming from to pull yourself around. Breathe, empty the abdomen, wring out the waist, and then release, coming back to center. Extend the legs out in front of you, just in Dandasana for a moment. Let the knees just feel soft and relaxed, the legs also. Okay, so we're going to come now to Adho Mukha Virasana. You don't need any supports for Adho Mukha Virasana because we're not holding it for very long. Coming to the back of your mat, although we are going to come to Uttanasana from here. We're making our way to Uttanasana. So at least perhaps have a set of bricks somewhere near the front of your mat in case you need them. Adho Mukha Virasana, you're on the floor on all fours. Toes are together. Knees are apart, so get your big toes to touch, knees are apart. Don't take the knees so wide apart that your, so the distance is, if my legs are very wide, the sides of the body are going to collapse through. You want the knees sufficiently wide that this cushy bit of inner thigh will support the sides of the body as you come down. So don't take them too wide, especially if you're quite slender. Bring the knees, yes. That's it. And now come forward, extend forward, take the hands shoulder distance apart. You want to lock the elbows, and with the elbows locked, feel that the forearms are lifting off the floor. This is the first Adho Mukha Virasana for your session, so you're not pushing too hard, but you also want to keep the arms engaged already because we are coming to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. In Adho Mukha Virasana, you can let the head rest. Again, as you press into the hands, you're moving the buttocks back towards the heels. Then we're coming to Adho Mukha Svanasana here. Come up onto all fours. You'll need to take the toes apart and then lift into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, you don't necessarily have to get your heels down to the floor, especially if it's the first downward facing dog, you might not have that flexibility. The head is relaxed and released, and you're being with your body, with your breath. As you exhale, press into the hands, and if you're not very flexible, you want to dig the spine into the body to open the chest and the armpits towards the floor. If you are very flexible, your back might really concave and your ribs might stick forward. So control the front ribs back so that the back is nice and flat and long. Coil the triceps to the face so that the top shoulder is free. Breathe. Whenever you need to come down, you come down. Back to Adho Mukha Virasana. If you're good to go, you keep going. Otherwise, from here, if you're still in Adho Mukha Svanasana, open the back of the knee, open the center back hamstring. If you're not very flexible, a really good action is to lift the buttock bones up, but if you're flexible enough, this action is maybe a bit too much. You just want to bring the sacrum, this lower part of the spine, into the body. We're coming now to Uttanasana. So begin to walk your feet towards your hands. If your hands cannot reach the floor, already come onto bricks. So with the bricks underneath your shoulders and your hands on bricks, you're able to get a little bit more of a concave back. Perhaps because of the extra height of the hands, you're able to keep the knees nice and firm. So you don't want to go into a forward bend, bending forward and really trying to get down there with this crooked spine. Rather have the support of the bricks, get the spine in, get that lovely extension in the front body. So this is Ardha Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana is halfway. If you have any back issues, please be aware that you're extending the front body versus just bending forward. If you have any back issues, make sure also that you're not coming into the full forward bend. This halfway lift is sufficient. And also you can keep your feet hip distance apart, especially if you're a beginner. Now, if you're able to come into the full forward fold, you can start to drop your bricks down. You can start to let your head go, look back. Keep the knees firm so that the thigh is strong. And you also want to keep the hip over the ankle. So the tendency in a lot of people is to either, let me not push you off, but to swing the buttocks back or to swing the buttocks too far forward. So firmness in the thighs, absolutely perpendicular legs. And now, as you exhale, let the sides of the body become long, settle into your forward bend. Gurfasana is holding the ankles. That does definitely assist to pull you in. In the classic Uttanasana, your hands are flat on the floor with your palms as far back as possible. Come up slowly, so make your way to where your hands are underneath your shoulders, either using bricks or not. Again, you want to firm up the legs so that the legs are strong and hold you. And then again, concave the back, extend the breastbone forward. With that firmness in the legs, with that extension in the sides of the body, the front of the body, you're going to come up strongly to a standing position. Right. When after these asanas, you just want to be in Tadasana, softly relaxing, catching your breath, no more tension, no more action, just feeling the effects of those few poses on your body. From Tadasana, we're going to come to Vrikshasana. Vrikshasana is a beginner pose, but there's a few things that can go wrong with Vrikshasana. One is it's a balance pose. So if you're new to it, come to the wall, set up against the wall, get your leg into the position for the tree pose, and then come away from the wall and find your balance. If the foot keeps slipping, that is also a dilemma. You can take a little piece of mat, cut up mat that you can hook on, or wear shorts so that it's skin on skin. And if you're like me and you have a little bit of upholstery, you can even hook the heel on that little ledge. The standing leg shouldn't pop out. Stand tall, bring that outer hip in. So as much as the foot presses into the thigh presses into the foot. When you're ready, you'll bring your hands into the prayer position. In the classic pose, the hands are up in Urdhva Namaskarasana. Press into that standing foot. You're keeping the knee down and moving it back, but keeping that buttock in. So there's a contrary action there. Lock the elbows, reach up, breathe. As you reach up, open the side waist, the side ribs, and then exhale, release, and come down. So having taken the right foot up, we're now going to come to Trikonasana on the right-hand side. So standing in the middle of your mat, you want to bring your fingertips to your chest, and on an inhalation, either step or jump the feet apart. Turn the right foot out completely. As you did in the tree pose, you want to keep that right buttock in. Take the left foot out. So your legs need to be wide enough that the ankles are underneath the wrists. So even a little bit wider. Okay. From here, we're coming to Trikonasana. In Trikonasana, you extend over to the right side. However, you want to be with that left leg also. So on your inner thigh, where you had your leg a moment ago, your foot a moment ago, can you feel that resistance on that left inner thigh and really ground the left outer thigh down? Breathe. If you're unable to look up at your hand, you can keep your head facing directly forward or even down to the floor. You can rest your palms slightly on the shin. That is the classic pose, thumb in front, fingers behind. Breathe. And when you're ready, you're going to inhale and find some buoyancy in the chest. Inhale, lift up through that left arm, strong legs, and come to standing upright. Stay in this Pajva shape where your foot is turned, because we're coming now to Virabhadrasana number 2. In Virabhadrasana 2, you want your shoulder girdle over your pelvic girdle, and I'm going to move from this left hip. So again, resist where that foot was. Bring the left hip to the right, and you want to keep the left arm back so that your shoulders line up with your hips. As you exhale, you descend and sit into that right buttock. You keep the gaze over the right hand. Keep breathing. Each exhalation, drop the shoulders, lift the chest. Each exhalation, ground into that back foot. Move this right knee back, open across the pelvis. When you're ready to come up, strong back leg, and then press into this right heel. Move the right shin up into the body to straighten that leg. You can relax your arms on your hips at any time. Virabhadrasana 2 is the pose that leads you into Pajva Konasana. So now we're coming to Pajva Konasana. Arms up, Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, turn the foot. Exhale, bend the knee, coming to Virabhadrasana 2. And on an exhalation, you're going to extend over, take your hand behind the foot, and the top arm comes up and over. If your hand does not reach the floor, you're welcome to place a brick underneath to give you a little bit of space. You're pushing this right knee into that right arm. Don't let that knee fall forward. Back of the neck is long, and you're looking up past that upper arm. And again, that back foot. Is the inner thigh alert? Is that back foot down strongly? Breathe. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, come up, and as you come up, push into that right heel to straighten up the leg. Turn the feet to face forward, rest your arms, and you can walk your way back or jump back to Tadasana. Again, at the end of poses, Tadasana is just a soft, quiet pose. You're catching your breath, feeling the effects of these asanas on your body. Just being with your breath in your body for a few moments. And we're going to repeat those 4 poses to the other side. So first, Vrikshasana, again, taking the support of the wall. You are also welcome to be close enough to the wall for your Vrikshasana that you can take your hand onto the wall so that when you come to your Vrikshasana, you've got some support. If, however, you found your balance, once you got your balance, you can take the arms up so that they stay shoulder distance apart. So when you don't take the hands together, keep the hands shoulder distance apart in Urdhva Hastasana. So for beginners, sometimes this is better in terms of the softness in the shoulders and the neck and the throat region. When you take the hands together, the whole palm touches, and because you're locking the elbows, you almost squeeze your head. Each exhalation, you're firming that standing leg, you're keeping that standing thigh strong. And when you've had enough on an exhalation, release the arms, release the leg, find that quiet, still Tadasana. Once you've had a few restorative breaths there, we're coming to Trikonasana. So stand firm on the legs, hands are at your sides. Lock the elbows, open up the chest, extend the spine. So this Tadasana at the beginning is a call to action. Fingertips to the chest and step or jump the feet apart as you inhale. On an exhalation, turn the feet to the left. Turn the back foot ever so slightly, and you want to keep this alertness in this back arm. You are going over to Trikonasana with this action of the inner thigh, really resisting back, opening the pelvis. As you exhale and come into it, move the root of the left thigh away so that you lengthen that left waist. The right ribs, if they stick up, you need to bring them into the body. So you want equal length on both sides of the body. Shoulders away from the ears still, chest is lifted, legs are strong, strong, strong. And then again, you're going to use that inhalation. That inhalation is going to help you. It makes the chest buoyant on an inhalation. Lift up through that right arm. come up with strong legs to standing. At any point, if you need to rest your hands, you do, if your shoulders are tightening. As you exhale, Virabhadrasana number 2. So this right arm resists back, chest opens towards the front. As you exhale and bend and sit into that left buttock, remember this right thigh is strong and this inner thigh resists away. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale, lift your chest, extend the spine. Exhale, strong legs, and then inhale, come up by straightening that leg. Have a rest. You can rest your arms also. And then the next pose we're doing is Pajvakonasana, Utthita Pajvakonasana. Exhale, bend the knee, go all the way over into Pajvakonasana. Once again, make sure you have your brick. Don't throw your head back. Back of the neck is nice and long. And you're looking up past your right upper arm. So if you need a brick, you take whatever support you need. As a beginner, it's a challenge to keep that knee back and that left buttock in. So this right hip has to move back. Now, as a beginner, if you can't go all the way down, bring your elbow on top of your knee. So come up a little bit, place that elbow on top of the knee, and that's another perfectly acceptable way to work into this pose. Again, back of the neck long. Lift your chest up, and on an inhalation, come up, straighten that leg strongly, turn the feet. Bring the feet together in Tadasana. Again, this is a soft Tadasana. You're just coming back to the body and the breath. Right, we do have another standing pose. It is a standing balance called Ardha Chandrasana. Ardha means half, Chandra is moon, so Ardha Chandrasana is the half moon pose. It is a balance, and if you're unable to go into it, then you're going to take your back to the wall so that when you come into the pose, you've got the support of the wall to help you getting into the pose. If you want to work at challenging your balance, absolutely, you're going to do it free. If you're unable to get your hand on the floor, you'll use a brick. All right, so have a brick already if you're going to use the brick for Ardha Chandrasana. We're coming through Trikonasana to go into the pose. So fingertips to the chest, step or jump the feet apart, turn the feet to the right, make sure you got space in the place you're going to. Extend over to Trikonasana first. So come to the triangle pose first. Already here, if you're using your brick, your hand is going to be on your brick. Now, this top hand doesn't have to be up. And especially for balance, as a beginner, it is actually advisable to keep the hand bent and down, but you feel free to take the hand up if that's within your practice. Exhale, bend that knee the same as you did in Virabhadrasana 2. You have to step the hand forward and the back foot in, and bring the hand under your shoulder. Open up the hips, so be on the brick. If you need a little bit of height, hand underneath the shoulder. Now, as you went into the pose, open, keep that openness in the hips. This back inner thigh, is it firm? Is it lifting the leg? And then at the same time, anchor that ankle, outer ankle down. So this whole leg is extended and strong. Open the hips, open the chest. If you have no neck injury, look up at the top hand. And then on an exhalation, bend that knee. Go back with control, lift up and turn the feet. Come back to Tadasana. So sometimes you do one pose after the other. Sometimes you'll do a pose to one side and then come back to Tadasana to do the same pose on the other side. Sometimes you don't, just depends. Right, once you've had a rest, have your brick at the ready. We're going to the left, so you'll jump to the right side of your mat so that you've got space to the left. Turn the feet, come to Trikonasana, the triangle pose. From Trikonasana, you're going to prepare mentally, ready yourself, steady yourself. If you need the brick, you have it already. Bend the knee and then step that left hand forward, step the right foot forward. If you look at the floor, your chest faces the floor. If you start to look at the floor, turn the hip, turn the chest, look up at the ceiling. Again, feel the action and alertness in that back leg. Shoulders are away from the ears. Line your back of the head and the tailbone. when you're ready. So come out of it with balance. You need to control that bend of the left knee. If you can control that bend of the left knee, you can control your descent and your exit into Tadasana. Be in Tadasana, find some softness, relax. A really nice way of doing a restorative is Uttanasana against the wall. So taking your buttocks against the wall. You want to not have your heel right up against the wall. So step a whole footstep forward and take your feet hip distance apart. You can use your hands to glide the buttock bones up the wall and either just release your arms down at your side or to the feet, or you can hold on to the elbows and lengthen the sides of the body down. Feel that you are rested into the wall, so the buttocks are against the wall. If you really are uncomfortable with forward bends and this is not restful for you at all, then by all means come out of it and just lie with your feet or legs up the wall. Right. We're coming now to Shirshasana. Shirshasana is the head balance. If you do Shirshasana in your practice, you're going to do Shirshasana now. If you do not do Shirshasana in your practice, then this online platform is not the time to begin a Shirshasana practice. Either make sure that you find a teacher in your area, or at the very least, have a friend who's going to assist you, but don't do Shirshasana on your own. So we'll show Shirshasana quickly and then I'll show you an alternative pose. So coming into, you're interlacing the fingers to, like a triangle. You'll set up on a blanket against a wall. I'm going to be a wall, so I'm the wall. Marianne is coming to do that Shirshasana. So interlacing the fingers right to the webbing, onto your hands and knees. So once the fingers are interlaced, you want to keep this bottom wrist bone down. It is best not to wear jewelry so that you don't have any impediments. And if it's cold where you're at, definitely roll up your sleeves so that the forearm is bare. The elbows don't come wider than the shoulders. So keep the elbows in, gauge that your elbows are in line with your shoulders. You're now going to lengthen the back of the neck, take your head down, lift your knees, walk your feet in. And again, if you've not done this before, don't do it now. Lift the shoulders to keep space for the neck nice and long. When you're ready, you either jump up into the pose or one leg at a time. Now, you keep pressing the forearms into the floor to keep that lift of the shoulders up. The neck is nice and free. Abdomen stays back in its place. Bring the front ribs to the back ribs. Front ribs to the back ribs. Line yourself up. Buttocks want to fall down because of gravity. You want to lift the buttock flesh up. So the front thighs come back a bit. Front ribs, connect them back. Abdomen is firm. That's it. Buttock flesh up. Thighs are firm. Extending into the inner line of the leg. You hold only as long as you are comfortable. You do whatever variations you know, and then when you're ready in your own time, you're going to release down. Again, there's many contraindications to head balance, although Shirshasana is such a wonderful pose and has so many benefits. Please take care when you are practicing it. You release in the child's pose, you don't just whip up out of it. Let your head rest. If you're still in Shirshasana, you stay in Shirshasana. You're going to hold your Shirshasana as long as it's comfortable for you. And you also want to make sure that you listen to your body. Whenever you need to come down, you come down. Right? If you're not doing Shirshasana, we're coming to Supta Baddha Konasana. You'll take a bolster and also a folded blanket for your head. Sitting in front of the bolster, so face that way. Sitting in front of the bolster. You'll have this bolster right up close to your butt. Your feet are together. Your knees are apart for Baddha Konasana. And then you're going to lie over the bolster, making sure you feel centered. If you've got any ponytails or hair impediments, remove them. And the head and the neck are supported by the blanket. The shoulders are free. You do, however, want to make sure that the flesh of the back body has released from the shoulders down. So you adjust by doing a pelvic tilt and smoothing the flesh of the buttocks away. You can also press your elbows into the floor, hands face each other. Pressing the elbows into the floor, you want to move the flesh of the upper back down. So it's as if somebody's sweeping the shoulder blade flesh away. Then relax the shoulders, relax the arms. So the shoulder blade flesh is down the back. Tuck in your chin. Make sure that the back neck is long, the throat is soft. If you do have the tendency to have your chin higher than your forehead, take some more support under the head if you cannot get that extension. Here, exhale. The knees are settling down. There's an openness in the pelvis. There's a quietness in the body. Supta Baddha Konasana, safe for everybody to do. If you are in Shirshasana still, you will come down from Shirshasana after having done equal number of variations on either side. If you're doing Supta Baddha Konasana instead of your inversion, you're going to hold your forearms, cross your forearms over your face, take your arms up and over. Settle the forearms down, arms are open. As you exhale, the abdomen quietens. Breathe. Then when you've been there for a few breaths, you'll change the cross of the arms. And this opens the armpits, chest opens that side of the chest region. But you can also hook your thumb into this inner elbow crease and use that to kind of lengthen the arm away. Oh, did I pull your hair? Sorry. Lengthen the arm away to get length in the sides of the body and the ribs. After a few breaths there, you bring your hands back at your sides. Using the hands, bring your knees together, come up or roll off onto your side. And we are coming to Dandasana. So Dandasana is the basic seated position, and it's like the cousin of Tadasana for the seated poses. So the first Dandasana we're going to do, you can either take a blanket to sit on. Again, if your sacrum sags to the floor, take some support to sit on, right? So sitting on some height, your legs are extended forward. You may not necessarily need the height. If you don't, you're welcome to take it away. If you are a beginner, if you have any back issues, if you're elderly, absolutely keep the feet hip distance apart. Otherwise, feet together, hands are at your sides, elbows are locked, sides of the body is extended, chest is well open. In Dandasana, you're pressing the thighs down, but you're lifting the sides of the body and the spine. Urdhva Hasta Dandasana is taking the arms up overhead. So Urdhva Hastasana, as you lift up, you want to really work at bringing the sacrum in and really press the thighs down. After a couple of breaths there, exhale and release the hands down. We're coming to Janu Shirshasana now. So Janu Shirshasana, you're taking the leg pretty much in the same position that you had in the tree pose. All right. For beginners, the foot is along the inner thigh, exactly as you did in the tree pose. The knee is moving back, so adjusting the flesh of the buttocks, make sure that you're on the buttock bones. Now, Janu is knee, Shirsha is head. It is not taking your head to your knee. It's keeping the head of this knee pinned back. So using the back of your hand against this bent right knee, turn your body away from the bent knee. You want to turn towards your straight extended leg. Keep that leg alert. Use that hand not only to move the knee back and down, but also to turn and bring the right kidney around. Then you can even move your right hand over to the left knee. Right hand over to the left knee, turn a bit deeper, and then extend over towards your foot. If you're unable to reach your foot, you would use a strap around the ball of the foot, and that would work just as well. If you're able to reach your foot, you're going to reach your foot. You're not gripping like it's some wild animal. Relax your arms. Lengthen the sides of the body again. As you exhale, remember, you're not taking your head to your knee. You want your head to your shin. Lengthen the back of the neck and let go. The elbows, you want to lift them up and have that same sensation like you had in Supta Baddha Konasana, where you're lengthening out of the elbows. There is a clasp that you do. So if the right leg is bent, I'm going to turn the back of the right hand against my foot, and my left hand is going to clasp the wrist of the right hand. So that is the final clasp. When you're ready to come up, hands assisting you, lift up, and we extend the leg back to Dandasana. From Dandasana again, left leg into Janu Shirshasana. Your first job is to settle the seat, lift up the spine, and then start to turn so that you're aiming your body over that right leg. Use your hands to help that turn. And when you come over, this right side of the chest stays out the way, the left side of the back has to descend more. Come to holding onto the foot. You can lift and widen the elbows, keep the shoulders soft. Once you're in the full pose, let the head come down. And then if you want to do the final clasp, the right hand clasps the wrist of the back of the left hand. Yes, go for it. Right hand clasps the left. That's the one. Right. So if you're not this flexible and you are going down and you are in this question mark shape, then take more height. And the other thing is be with your strap and rather work in this halfway lift with the concavity in the back. Walk your hands back and release the leg into Dandasana. So we had the foot at the root of the opposite thigh. For classic Janu Shirshasana, you want to move the foot into its own groin so that the knees are at a wider angle, at an obtuse angle. Not accessible for everybody, so practice it, don't practice it, see where you're at. We're coming now to Upavishta Konasana. Upavishta Konasana, again, you're only taking height to sit on if you need it, and in Upavishta Konasana, you're taking the legs wide. So sitting on height if you need it, the feet are wide. You want the legs to be alert. Don't take the legs so wide that you rip something, sensibly wide to your capacity. You're on the center back heel, the back of the knees opening up, and you're pressing the thighs down. Again, you want that sacrum into the body, and you want to feel that you're on the buttock bones. It's helpful to take the hands next to the hips, and from here also just help to lift the spine, open the chest. Keep your head up. If your head is upright, it helps to lift your chest up also. Upavishta Konasana is done sometimes as a forward bend, sometimes as a turn to the side, sometimes as a twist. If you struggle with forward bends, please be cautious with this one. You can either hold on to your toes if you can reach them and extend yourself forward, or you take your hands just in front of you like as if you're doing a push-up and coming forward gently there. If you are practicing Upavishta Konasana, and you struggle with this pose, it's one of those poses that you just kind of have to work into. You have to hang out with it and let something just develop over time. Up you come. It is comfortable to have a bolster or some support in front of you. So when you come forward now with the hands just in front, if you want to hang out here, letting the abdomen settle onto something gives you a little bit of support that you can just allow this pose to develop a little bit. You can cross your hands on the bolster, rest your forehead on your hands, and just kind of chill out here. Yeah, keeping the legs alert, keeping the buttocks grounded, trying to press the back of the knee, the back of the Achilles tendon into the floor, just opening up into the groins. Upavishta Konasana, lovely, lovely pose, but do be careful that you're not forcing into the pose. Use your hands to come up. Janu Shirshasana, the pose we just did, we are going to do Parivrita Janu Shirshasana now. Parivrita means revolved. So we'll approach it from Upavishta Konasana. If again you need your strap to hold your foot, you'll have your strap. We're going to bend up the right leg. Now you're lining your heel up in line with the perineum, and the sole of the foot is up to the ceiling. I'm going to turn away from my foot, so turning to the bent knee. Turning to the bent knee, use your hands, get that turning. You want to aim the back body towards that straight leg shin. So now when you've turned to the right, extend your left arm up, get that length, and as you exhale, go. Use the exhalation, use some momentum. You are holding the foot in front with that left hand, and your right hand is coming up and over, reaching for your left foot. Again, if you cannot reach your foot, you'll use a strap. This is a turn. I'm going to exhale and open away from my bent knee. Whereas with Janu Shirshasana, the forward bend, I was turning towards my straight leg. On an exhalation, you can just unroll like a rag doll and you come up. Extend the right leg back to Upavishta Konasana. Now we're going to bend the left leg in. So a nice wide obtuse angle. If we were going to Janu Shirshasana, you would turn towards your straight leg for the forward bend, but we're coming to Parivrita Janu Shirshasana, so you're turning away from your straight leg to your bent leg. Inhale, reach that right arm up, use the exhalation, go. Beautiful. And you just reach where you can. And you stay there, you let that left buttock stay settled down. You can use the connection that you have with that right elbow and that right knee to turn and look up to the ceiling a little bit more. It's a thinner breath, don't hold the breath. When you've been there for a few breaths and you feel ready to come down, you'll just exhale, roll out of it. Come up, and then bring the feet together, the knees wide for Baddha Konasana. You might need a blanket to sit on, just one little last uplifting seated pose. We're coming now to our second inversion of the class, which is shoulder balance. Shoulder balance is called Salamba Sarvangasana. We're going to approach it from Halasana. If you have blood pressure issues, if you're menstruating, if you have any neck and shoulder injuries, if you've never done a shoulder balance in your life, then please do not do it now. When doing shoulder balance, we use supports in an Iyengar yoga class to protect the back of your neck. These are foams. They're just hard chipboard foam the size of an A4 block, and they're about 5 centimeters tall or wide. You want to place them to create a platform. And then you're taking blankets. So the one blanket on top, just the smooth edge fold on the edge of the foams. This gives a little bit of softness, it gives a little bit of slip for the neck, and it also helps to keep the foams together. Then you need another blanket just to create a little bit of softness for your head. Don't have this blanket too folded up because you want this little ledge. When coming into shoulder balance, you do this Jalandhara Bandha shape, and the bony bit that sticks out, C7, will take strain if you're doing shoulder balance often and flat. You're going to measure your strap, so everybody is different. You're measuring your strap from outer shoulder to outer shoulder. So measure up your strap from outer shoulder to outer shoulder. And so that you know where your strap is, you're going to hold it in your hand. If you are a beginner, don't try this unless you have somebody assisting you. If you've done it before and you struggle to kick your feet over your head, you can put a bolster there as a launch pad. So you're sitting on the bolster, shoulders are on the support, head is on the blanket. So come around. Yes, you can remove the bolster. So the bolster is useful if you can't kick yourself up. Also, if you know you cannot do halasana, you're going to do it near a wall so that you can put your feet on the wall or your feet on a chair. So lying down, get yourself on your support. So if you have a look, Marianne's feeling here for this edge of the support. The shoulder is going to roll onto that little piece of support, the earlobe in line with the edge of the support. So move a little bit closer that way. Yes. Now when you come in, you're going to roll onto the top of the shoulder. The neck should slide on the blanket. Bring your feet over your head. This is halasana. Halasana is useful to help you prepare at cutting the outer upper arms in so that you're resting on that outer upper arm. Also, the action of gripping the feet helps you to already lift the thighs and lengthen the sides of the body. From Halasana, you're going to take your strap around the upper arm, so just above the elbow, holding the elbows in because they naturally want to splay. Then keeping a lovely openness between the shoulder blade and the upper arm. You hold Halasana as long as you're comfortable. It does feel quite closed and constricted. Keep the neck soft, throat soft. Bring your hands onto your back now. You can undo them. Yeah. Very nice to have skin on skin. So, and then either lifting one leg at a time, two legs, whatever's within your practice, you're coming to stand on your shoulders in Salamba Sarvangasana. You want to try and create a plumb line from your shoulder joint. You line up the hip joint, the knee joint, and the ankle joint. So here you can see a nice, beautiful line. It's a real challenge, shoulder balance, to get this openness in the front groin here, to lift the front thigh and keep it back and keep the middle buttocks in. Takes quite a lot of practice for some people. Beginners generally hold their bum and the groins fold back. So do you want to show? The legs come forward, the bum goes back, and you tend to be in this lopsided shape. But as you become more and more adept, you start rolling onto the top shoulder. You start bringing the shoulder blades into the body to bring the chest to the chin. That's chin lock, Jalandhara Bandha. And then again, keep working the thighs strongly back, middle buttocks in. Keep the back of the neck long, the throat soft. Initially, when you go into it, you gaze up and down your body, you scan your body. But once you're in it and you want to settle in it and be there for a little while, you have just your gaze at the chest. If you're not doing shoulder balance, you're going to be doing cross bolsters. Cross bolsters, you take either two bolsters if you have them and you put them at a T, or you're going to take your shoulder balance foams. You put a little stack of two shoulder balance foams, and then you're going to put your bolster over it and you lay yourself down in cross bolsters. So your firm bolster at the bottom, your other bolster on top like a seesaw. You're going to sit on the front, roll yourself down until your shoulders are on the floor. And then if you have no back issues, you can extend your legs out. When you're coming up, you'll roll onto your side, rest your shoulder and your hip on the same level before pushing yourself to come to standing. Shoulder balance has got many, many benefits for the endocrine system, the cardiovascular system, but it also is wonderful for the lymphatic system. All the glands in the body, in the endocrine system, get a benefit from this pose. It is the easiest inversion to hold, so you want to try and hold it and develop your stamina in this pose for as long as you can. When you feel ready, keeping this tallness in the sides of the body, either one leg at a time or two legs together, come down through Halasana. Again, listen to your body. Yoga is a personal practice. Anything that doesn't feel right, come out of the pose. Once you're released, you take off the strap, you move it aside so that you don't roll into it, protecting your back, so having your hands there to catch you. You're going to unroll slowly. Try not to lift your head up. Just stay down. You don't have to use your abdominals here. You can bend your knees. And then you're going to come off your support a little bit so that your head, shoulders and your head are either on the same support, or more relaxing is to bring the shoulders right off the support and let just your head be on. You can close your eyes here. You can just rest here. You can relax the neck, the throat, the shoulders. Soften the skin of the body, soften the joints, the muscles. Shoulder balance is such a beautiful pose, and when you come out of it, there's such lovely sensations that happen in the body. So it's nice to just be here for a few breaths and enjoy the effects of this wonderful asana. We're coming now to the end of our practice, and we are finishing off with a few minutes in Shavasana. To come up once you've rested sufficiently, listen to your body. Once you feel ready, you roll onto your side, you push yourself up into a seated position. If it is very cold where you're at, absolutely put some warm bits and pieces on. You don't want to be lying in Shavasana and being cold and uncomfortable. You can also lay out one of your blankets on your mat so that you're lying on a soft, warm blanket and not only on your mat. And then a folded blanket for the head is really nice. So have that handy. You're going to come into it first with bent knees. If it's uncomfortable for you to lie flat, you can have a bolster ready to put your knees on. Otherwise, starting with bent knees, again, get that movement of the flesh of the trapezius, the shoulder blades releasing away from the neck, the flesh of the buttocks releasing, the knees are bent, so you've already got that natural extension in the lumbar spine. Exhale, soften the abdomen. Exhale, relax the neck, the throat, the shoulders. On the next exhalation, again, settle the abdomen. When the abdomen feels released, extend the legs along the floor. You can let the feet just flop out to the sides. The palms also face up to the ceiling. The fingertips just curl naturally. The palm is soft. And again, as you exhale, almost as if every cell of the body is sighing out, release, let go. As you exhale, keep the skin and the muscles of the face relaxed. Release from the shoulder to the fingertips. With each exhalation, quieten the diaphragm. Let the abdomen just completely settle and let go. Exhale also from the hips, the groins, right through to the toes. Completely let go. Make sure that the back of your neck is long. The head support is for your head and your neck, not your shoulders. Relax the shoulders to the floor. Shavasana, we kind of go into the territory of Pratyahara, the fifth stage of yoga. Pratyahara is controlling and quietening and withdrawing the senses inward. So here with the eyes closed, with that breath soft, the body still, just be in that internal space. Soft inhalations, passive, peaceful exhalations. Exhalation allows you to not just release carbon dioxide from the body, but also lots of other toxins. The exhalation in Shavasana helps you to release tension from the body. So with each exhalation, you surrender a little bit more. And that exhalation also helps you to keep thoughts at bay. So any thoughts, any troubles or anxieties, just kind of with each exhalation, let them disappear. Bring your focus to your body, to your breath. Just be in this perfectly peaceful, calm state for a few more moments. Exhalation is a very powerful tool. It helps you really surrender into your Shavasana. And the inhalation is very useful to bring you out of this Shavasana state. So bringing your focus back to your breath if your mind has wandered. Start to let the inhalations become a little bit deeper, a little bit more profound. You can start to move your body, run the thumb across the fingertips, move your toes a little bit, just start to stretch your limbs. Bring your hands onto your abdomen, anywhere where it's comfortable, connect with your breath. Each inhalation feeding that prana, that vital life energy to every cell of the body. On the next breath in, stretch your arms over your head, give yourself a lovely long deep stretch, yawn or sigh the breath out. Then bending the knees, you're going to lazily roll onto your right side. Keep your head cradled in that right arm, left side of the body, holding you in this quiet Shavasana state. When you feel ready to come up, when your eyes feel ready to open, you're going to press the left hand into the floor, use it to come up. Work your way into any comfortable cross-legged position. Once you're in a seated position, bring the hands once more to the prayer position. Eyes are closed again. That internal focus, lift the spine, open the chest. And with a small smile on your face, just take a moment to give thanks for the health and strength of your body. On the next breath in, let the eyes gently flutter open and focus. Namaste. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Marianne. We'll see you next time. Well done.